Hi everyone, my name is Donnie Lowy from Closeout.com. I have a wholesale business here in Brooklyn, New York. The next time you're in New York, you are welcome to visit my warehouse. So today I'd like to discuss with you the truth about designer clothing liquidation sales. Now, if you've been in the business long enough, you've seen many websites advertising liquidation sales on designer clothing. You might have gone to a warehouse where they had a sale on designer clothing, and it was, a liquidation where they were looking to sell everything at below wholesale price. So I want to just tell you something very important. The first thing is you have to make sure that the merchandise is authentic, right? Because you only want to deal with authentic merchandise. So you want to find out, where did the merchandise originate from? Let's say, for example, with my business, the majority of my brand name merchandise either is overstocked from department stores or overstocked from the brand. If I needed to, I would be able to show an invoice, to a customer or to, anyone who inquired, to show them where I buy the clothing from. So whenever you deal with any website or any wholesaler that is going to sell you designer clothing, you want to ask them where the clothing comes from and ask them, if it came to it, would they be able to provide you with an invoice to show where they bought it from? Now, I understand nobody wants to give away their sources, right? I might not want to give away my sources either. But if there was a government agency, or let's say eBay or Amazon, and they wanted to confirm that my clothing is all authentic, I would be able to show them an invoice where I buy the clothing from. And then they would be able to see that everything is authentic. So whoever you deal with, make sure that they are willing to take that step if it comes to it. Now, here's something very important. Another truth about the liquidation business when it comes to designer clothing is that a lot of times the clothing that is being liquidated is clothing which is not the latest style. Meaning, let's say I get department store overstock. So that overstock could be from a season ago, it might be from 2 seasons ago, it might even be, let's say, from a year ago. Now, you have to know as a seller how much your customers are concerned with getting the latest style. If your customers need the clothing that was literally, put out in the marketplace by Calvin Klein last week, then you don't want to buy clothing that's being liquidated, because that clothing might be from a previous season. Unless you're buying it directly from Calvin Klein, but still, they're not going to liquidate the merchandise that they're just introducing to the marketplace. But on the other hand, the upside is if your customers are okay with buying clothing that was introduced to the marketplace 3 months ago, 6 months ago, or even a year ago, then you have an excellent opportunity to buy designer clothing liquidations, because you're going to be able to buy that merchandise that's substantially below the wholesale price, and that's going to give you a lot of room to mark up the clothing. Let's say you buy a Calvin Klein dress that originally retailed for $150, and the Calvin Klein dress was put out by Calvin Klein into the marketplace 6 months ago. Now you buy that dress on my warehouse for $25. Now, you take that dress, and let's say it has an original retail of $150, and your customer doesn't mind that the dress came out a few months ago. Now, you sell it to your customers for $100. So you're giving them a 33% discount, and at the same time, you're still, working on a really good margin, because you paid $25 for it and you're selling it for $100. Or let's say you sell the dress for $50, so you're working on a 100% margin. Now, I'm sorry, you're doubling, right? You're off your cost. Now, I cannot tell you, how much you're going to be able to sell it for, if you're going to be able to sell it for, right? There's no way for me to guarantee or to know that, because you know your marketplace. But the key is that the margins are there, right? The potential is there, provided that your customers are interested in buying that product, and provided that you buy the product at a low enough price. Now, another thing you need to know, whenever you go to any designer, liquidation sale, you want to get there early, meaning you want to get there when you have the best selection possible. And the same is true if you're going to a wholesaler like myself. You want to get to the wholesaler as close as possible to the delivery of the merchandise. So if a wholesaler gets a shipment of merchandise on Monday and they're going to run their liquidation sale on Tuesday, make sure you get there Tuesday. Or if you can't go there in person, then place your order right away so you can get the best deal possible. Alright, my website is closeoutexplosion.com. The next time you are in New York, you're welcome to visit my warehouse. Thank you so much and have a great day.